Bruin fans, fall is finally here. That means UCLA football is back in your life. Head out to the Rose Bowl to enjoy America's best tailgating and to make more unforgettable memories with the Bruins. Nico Iamaleava and the Bruins are ready to make an impact this year, and we need you cheering them at the Rose Bowl. Visit UCLABruins.com or call 310-UCLA-WIN to lock in your tickets today. 310-UCLA-WIN.
Good afternoon. We're getting right down to business here. We're doing it live, doing more at 4 weekday afternoons, right after Guy Benson and just before the 790 KBC News Blitz with Randy Wang at 5. It's Mottek On Money. We're live on the air, 790 KBC, streaming live online worldwide at KBC.com, and you're on demand, Mottek On Money podcast, KBC.com, Apple, iTunes, YouTube, all your favorite podcast platforms. Well, the third quarter of 2025 goes into the Wall Street history books, going out with more record highs. Closing an impressive month of September, which usually is not a great month for the stock market. The market was mixed for most of the day on uncertainty over a partial U.S. government shutdown, which appears to be imminent in about 8 hours from now. Over the past 3 months now, the benchmark index climbed nearly 8%, led by big gains in technology and consumer discretionary. Among the quarter's standout performers, AppLovin, the ticker symbol on that one, APP, Robinhood, Western Digital, and Seagate. Also, the names of the Magnificent Seven had a pretty impressive performance, including NVIDIA. Looks like that one closed at a record high today at nearly $5 at $186 and change. Tesla has been on a roll lately, up another $1.51 today to $444 and change. NVIDIA, by the way, is up nearly 20% over just the last 3 months, while Intel surged around 50%. We've been keeping an eye on that one. Oracle, also you've been hearing a lot about that one, gaining about 30% in the quarter after landing a $300 billion cloud compute contract with ChatGPT parent OpenAI. Pfizer in the spotlight today with their CEO at a news conference at the White House. The stock surged about 7% and helped give the S&P 500 a boost as the company announced lower prices on several medications. With President Trump at the White House, the company set to get a 3-year exemption now from certain tariffs that the Trump administration intends to impose on pharmaceutical imports. Shares of EchoStar advanced about 4% on reports that Verizon was in talks to buy the wireless spectrum portion from the Dish TV parent company. Uncertainty over tariffs still weighing harder on some companies. The cost of tariffs weighing heavily on Ford Motor. According to the CEO of that company, Jim Farley, speaking to the media today at Ford's Accelerate Pro conference in Detroit. Toyota, meanwhile, reported another bump up in global sales for the month of August, with the U.S. consumer powering those gains. Toyota, now the world's largest automaker by volume, said global sales rose 2.2% in August year over year. Spotify's founder and CEO Daniel Ek plans to step down from his role at the top of that streaming giant and transition to executive chairman effective January 1st. Shares of Spotify dropped following that announcement. This is interesting. Shares of credit card issuers lost ground today as the likelihood of a government shutdown increased. Shutdown could have a negative impact on consumer sentiment, according to analysts, weighing on the frequency of the card swipes and other transactions that generate revenue for the credit card company. Shares of Capital One, for example, closed down 5%. We did get some new readings on real estate today from the authoritative S&P Totality Case-Shiller Index, formerly the CoreLogic Case-Shiller Index. It turns out home price growth moved lower for the 6th month in a row as of July, according to the report released today. We'll talk about that with the chief economist at CoreLogic, Dr. SELMA HEPP, now known as Totality, not CoreLogic. Big day for business and civic leaders in the San Fernando Valley today for the 19th annual Mayor's Luncheon, organized by the United Chambers of Commerce of the San Fernando Valley, held at the Warner Center Marriott. Will be joined later this hour by the Honorable Dennis ZINE, former LA City Council member, retired LAPD sergeant with something like more than 50 years of service to the City of Angels. He happens to also be honorary mayor of Woodland Hills and attended that big event today. But first, on your money, the markets, the economy, and the whole works now. Joining us live, Steve Forbes, chairman of Forbes Media, which includes Forbes magazine, author of numerous books, including his latest, Inflation, What It Is, Why It Is Bad, and How to Fix It. Steve Forbes, of course, a well-known tax reform advocate and former Republican presidential candidate. Steve Forbes, thank you very much for this honor and coming to the line here this afternoon.
Good to be with you. Thank you. And looking forward to the coming World Series between the Dodgers and the Yankees once again.
Yes, that's what it's looking like. Are you planning to attend this year?
I hope to get to a game. I'll certainly be watching it on TV.
Well, fantastic. So much to talk about here with the month of September. This is probably the fastest year ever. Here we are. We just put the third quarter of 2025 in the Wall Street history books with record highs for the Dow Jones Industrial Average today. The Dow up 82 points, the S&P 500 up 27, and the NASDAQ up 69. Gold at or near record highs today. Silver has seen an impressive run, getting close to $50 an ounce. Give us your thoughts here on what's happened this month.
Well, I think what's happened this month is anticipation, one, that what the Federal Reserve did. They finally started to take its foot off the neck of the economy, and the markets have anticipated that process is going to continue into October, November, December, several more times. And there's still a lot of liquidity out there, but I think that the markets are going to be now looking to the weak dollar, and also what's going to be happening on the tariff front. I mean, hardly a day goes by. We all thought this would be settled by summer, and now here we are in the fall, winter on the horizon, and each day we get some new tariff news. And also the president announced today he's starting a process, which I find astounding, is the government's going to get in the price control business of pharmaceuticals. And that's not good for future development of new drugs. And at my age, I want all of those newbies that can prolong life and quality of life as possible, not 10 years down the road, but with artificial intelligence, we should be able to get them in months, which I want. We all want.
And then you have the president announcing 100% tariffs on foreign-made movies as well, impacting Hollywood. Let's get your reaction on that part of the story here.
Well, I think that picture is a blur, and countries do have restrictions for cultural reasons on our products and the like, but the way you deal with those is one by one instead of a blanket tariff. I don't know how they're going to do it. Are they going to estimate the cost of a movie? As you well know, I shouldn't say it, but I will. The accounting in Hollywood is something that can be approach fiction. And so how they're going to apply these tariffs on foreign imports of movies and the like, recordings and the like, especially in this day of instant communications thanks to satellites, good question. They haven't thought this one through, which is why the announcement so far has been rather vague.
I can't even imagine how many times you've been asked to finance movies over the years, so that's a topic for another day. But is this announcement at the White House?
Financing movies and Broadway plays and the like is done for reasons of ego. You don't want to put them in your 401k.
Now, this announcement at the White House today regarding the drug companies, is this being taken as price controls? Somebody got up there and said it wasn't price controls.
Well, they say it's voluntary. Just as when Tony Soprano of The Godfather comes and points a gun at you, yes, sir, it's all voluntary. And Pfizer, for example, showed up today because they know they're going to get slammed with tariffs and other restrictions if they didn't go along. And so, yes, this is price controls. They don't call them that, but they know bullets coming their way if they don't comply. And it's really bad stuff. This is not something we should expect from a Republican administration. Europe has had price controls for years. It used to be a font back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s of new drugs and new medical devices. And today it's pretty much of a desert with a few exceptions. And that's what we're going to get here.
On the line with Steve Forbes, chairman of Forbes Media. And we're watching the price of gold hit record highs this week again, getting close to $3,900 an ounce. Your reaction to that big news this at a time when we're told inflation is supposedly going down?
Well, the official reported inflation numbers are going down, but most people are starting to notice that the food store, yes, egg prices are down, but other prices seem to be moving up. And if you want beef, you're going to have a problem, certainly in my part of the country, you may have a beef with the price there. And so what the dollar indicates, with the gold, on that kind of a scale, if it's sustained, is we're going to get monetary inflation down the road, 12 months, 18 months. And that's why I wish the administration would stop hinting that it wants a weak dollar and instead says we want a stable, strong dollar, stable, because the George W. Bush administration in the early part of this century followed the same path. They thought they could gradually weaken the dollar and get great trade advantages. Instead, it led to the disaster of 2007 to 2009. And that's what we're going to be headed for if they don't get off this track. So this ball is in the Treasury Department. It's got to tell the Fed, we want a stable dollar.
Silver just about $3 off its all-time high, which was last seen back in 1979. That was a big story when that happened, when silver got close to $50 an ounce back then. What are your thoughts on silver here?
Well, silver's rising for the same reason that gold is rising. It's a hedge against future monetary inflation. And by the way, you mentioned $50 an ounce back in the 70s when most of your audience wasn't even born. And that was triggered not only by the terrible inflation of the 1970s, but the Hunt brothers thought they could corner the silver market and drive the price up to hundreds of dollars an ounce. So they spent money, had a lot of money, and they borrowed tons of money to buy all the silver that came that they thought existed in the world. They didn't realize that places like India and China, people have been hoarding silver for years. So suddenly this vast supply of new silver came on the market, and the two brothers went bankrupt, and silver never reached that level again until now.
Isn't that something? Thanks for that interesting history lesson there. That was a big deal when the Hunt brothers had that silver run up and then got wiped out. The top of the billionaires list, it's certainly been a September to remember. Your billionaires list changed hands at the top there with Larry Ellison briefly taking the spot over Elon Musk after Oracle stock rocketed higher. Elon Musk is well back on top now with Larry Ellison, I believe, here at number 4. What are your thoughts here about what we've seen here in the stratospheric realm here with these billionaires?
Well, I think that's a reflection of the monetary inflation to come. Now, Larry Ellison's firm Oracle has been around for decades and has shown time and again it is a force in high tech. So even if the stock may take a hit, you know it's a real company. So I'm not worried about that. And the same with Tesla. A lot of people still think of it as an EV company, but it's really involved in high tech. And they're doing some very interesting things in terms of cutting edge high tech that could really make all these data centers we think we need not obsolete, but not the pinnacle of high tech. So people are buying the future with Tesla and Elon Musk. And the blunt truth about Tesla is it's been overvalued since the day it was created. And but people aren't buying a car company; they're buying future cutting-edge technology.
On the Live with Steve Forbes, and we've seen crypto evolve over the years with Bitcoin recently hitting an all-time high above 124,000 in the last month or so. Bitcoin right now had that pullback, and now it's back to around 114,000. What is your view of crypto here? Have you come around on crypto?
Well, Bitcoin was invented as a high-tech cry for help back in 2007, 2008, because governments were mistreating money as they are today. You know, governments treat currencies, as you know, the way airlines treat frequent miles. They don't treat them very well. And that's how we got this whole crypto phenomenon. But Bitcoin can't replace. It's more of a place to park your money for people, not for me. If I'm going to do that, I'll go with gold or silver. But the whole thing on phenomenon of these currencies, cryptocurrencies, is they don't trust the real currencies in the world. Not real, but the government currencies. But you would not want to use Bitcoin as money for a long-term contract. Imagine if you had taken a mortgage 5 years ago and denominated Bitcoin. Instead of owing the bank, say, $300,000, you'd owe them $3 million. So it's a speculative vehicle, but these new stable coins, as they call them, as they mature, they could eventually, and the word eventually, evolve into competition for the U.S. dollar.
On there live with Steve Forbes, and we're on the eve here of a likely government shutdown, partial government shutdown. Looks like Wall Street shrugging this off. What do you think is going to happen just after midnight tonight?
I think the government is going to shut down. As you know, last March, Chuck Schumer, the leader of the Democrats in the Senate, cut a deal with the White House to prevent a government shutdown. He got pilloried, harshly criticized by the left wing of the Democrat Party. And so this time, because Schumer knew then, he knows today, that the Trump administration is going to use it as an opportunity not just to furlough government workers, but actually terminate tens of thousands of government workers. And the Democrats are, I'm astonished they're so blind that they're walking into that. They think if they scream health care enough, they'll come out of it. Maybe they will, but you're going to have a couple of 100,000 federal employees who are going to be looking for new jobs thanks to this shutdown. I'm dumbfounded the Democrats are going along with it. Schumer, to his credit, saw that possibility in March, and he avoided it, and he got nearly removed from his job as a Senate leader of the Democrats.
Do you see AI replacing many of those jobs you're talking about right now? We see NVIDIA hitting a record high today. That front page article in the Wall Street Journal yesterday with the head of Walmart saying that AI's impact is going to be significant on jobs. Do you expect more government jobs to be replaced by what's happening with AI?
The answer is yes, and that's why I wish we could get rid of this tariff uncertainty, get the Federal Reserve and the Treasury Department to behave on the dollar and get more tax cuts, because we're going to need a vibrant economy. We've had great technological changes before. We've absorbed people into the workforce. But if you have a stagnant economy and tech like artificial intelligence, there's going to be a lot of unhappy people. And they don't have to be unhappy if we have a vibrant economy and there going to be need for people working. But a stagnant economy is the last thing we need right now. And I wish our politicians would realize that and do some constructive stuff.
What else would you like to see on the tax front? Many people remember when you proposed a one-card tax return. We haven't quite got there yet, but we've certainly seen a lot of tax reform recently. What else would you like to see happen on the tax front?
Well, it would be nice to have a tax simplification where you'd have one tax rate would apply after generous exemptions for adults and for children. You know, what plan I proposed, a family of four, Frank, would have no federal income tax on the first $54,000 of salary, and it would work. You only pay 17 cents a dollar above that, no tax on savings. But that's not going to happen anytime soon. What I hope would happen this fall is that we get a new reconciliation bill and we do real tax rate reductions for individuals, especially for people making anywhere from $12,000 to $250,000 a year. We can have substantial tax cuts there, and that would help the economy as well as helping the individuals. It would also help the economy, which I think is going to need help in the next 12 months.
All right, and here we are now at the end of the third quarter. 6 months of gains for the NASDAQ, 5 in a row for the Dow and the S&P 500. Give us your thoughts here on the markets for the rest of the year and how the economy is looking from your vantage point.
Well, the economy has a bit of a head of steam, but on the business investment side, there's certain areas where you see some faltering. People are being much more cautious, especially middle-income people, in how they're spending their money. They're still spending, but much more cautiously. People are getting more into debt, some people. So I think we're going to have some choppy weather. By the way, you shouldn't try to time the market, especially if you have a 401k or some similar kind of retirement plan. You can ride the storms through. Don't let emotions be your enemy. But as they used to say, trees don't grow to the sky. They can grow pretty tall, but these things don't last forever. And this is a market. Markets always, emotions are your enemy when you invest. And so when you get queasy and you get panicky, that's the time to just not open your statements or go online, because eventually we get through these things. But going through them, a lot of people panic and sell and miss the comeback, which eventually happens, maybe year, 2 years, 3 years, but it always comes back and they miss out, and so they don't do as well as they should.
Just like the Dodgers and the Yankees, right? So we're going to keep an eye on that as we get ready for the World Series. Steve Forbes, always great to have you with us. Thank you very, very much for taking the call live with us here. It's always an honor to have you with us here. Steve Forbes, chairman of Forbes Media, including Forbes Magazine, author of numerous books. His latest, Inflation, What It Is, Why It Is Bad, and How to Fix It. Steve Forbes, thank you very much for taking the call here this afternoon.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And out to the freeways now on 790 KABC. Mottek On Money continues here, 790 KABC. Another record-shattering day for stocks to close out the third quarter of 2025 and to close out a September to remember. The Dow up 82 points to a record high close at 46,397. The S&P 500 up 27 points at 6688, and the Nasdaq up 69 at 22,660. The Dow at a record high, and the other major averages near all-time highs. 6 months of gains for the Nasdaq, 5 in a row now for the Dow and the S&P 500. It was a record-shattering month for the price of gold, which right now is hovering just below $3,900 an ounce, $38.8760, up about $14 here at the moment. Silver also saw a pretty big pop this month, getting close to $50 an ounce. We see NVIDIA at a record high to close out the month of nearly $5 at $186.58. Tesla has seen an impressive rebound this month of $1.51 at $444 and change. Oracle has seen that big jump and now pulling back slightly down $1.52 at $281.24. Aitco Holdings, Orbs, down more than $2 today at $9.15. Checking the cryptos now, we see Bitcoin down nearly 400 to 114.11. ETH, Ethereum, down 51 to 4,141. Solana at 208, and Doge at the moment at 23 cents. And now the latest news on 790 KABC.
Hey, Bruin fans, want to go behind the scenes with your favorite teams and athletes? How about getting exclusive merch and opportunities to enter sweepstakes like sideline access at the Rose Bowl? Introducing Blue and Gold Society, UCLA Athletics fan membership program created to support Bruin student athletes. Members receive benefits like exclusive gear, videos featuring insider stories, and incredible experiences courtesy of UCLA Athletics. Sign up today at blueandgoldsociety.com.
Hi, I'm Joe Saul-Sehy, host of the Stacking Benjamins podcast. Today, we're going to talk about what if you came across $50,000. What would you do?
Put it into a tax-advantaged retirement account.
The mortgage, that's what we do.
Make a down payment on a home.
Something nice.
Buying a vehicle.
A separate bucket for this addition that we're adding.
$50,000, I'll buy a new podcast.
You'll
partner.
buy new friends. And we're done. Thanks for playing, everybody. We're out of here. Stacking Benjamins. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Mottek On Money continues here. 790 KBC welcomes Brian Regan coming to the Long Beach Terrace Theater on March 7th. Tickets are on sale this Friday at Ticketmaster.com. Right now, caller 9 wins at 1-888-790-5222. You can get a pair of tickets to the show. If you are caller number 9, call right now, 1-888-790-5222. The tickets are furnished by Live Nation. Mottek On Money continues here at 790 KABC. Turning now to real estate, we did get some new readings on real estate prices today from the authoritative S&P Cotality Case-Shiller Index, formerly known as the S&P CoreLogic Case-Shiller Index. Turns out home price growth has moved lower for the 6th month in a row as of this latest report. Let's bring in the chief economist at Cotality, and that is Dr. SELMA HEPP, for the very latest on these readings, which include Los Angeles, San Diego, and San Francisco. Dr. SELMA HEPP, thank you very much for taking the call here this afternoon.
Hey, Frank, thanks so much for having me.
Always great to have you with us as the authoritative source on all of this, hearing it straight from the source. This is an index that's followed very, very closely. Give us an update on what you just released today.
Yeah, as you suggested, annual price growth continued to slow. It was down to 1.7% year-over-year increase. That's the slowest that we've seen since 2012. And what's concerning in July was that month-over-month home prices started to decline as well. So home prices were down 0.2%. And while we've seen this slowing at this time of the year last year and back in 2022, it's not generally the trend that we would see at this time of the year. Generally, you do see some slight increase at this time of the year. So it really suggests that, weakening home demand has started to eat into home prices. Home buyers, at least, are experiencing a little bit more of purchase power, both because there is more inventory and they can negotiate more with sellers. So definitely shift in the market, and especially so in Los Angeles, where we've seen a significant increase in inventory over the last year.
Tell us more about the Los Angeles area and your latest readings. It looks like there was a monthly drop, right? And also only a very slight gain over the past year. Zero in on what's happening here in the Los Angeles area, especially in the face of the horrific fire disaster with so many homes and businesses destroyed.
Absolutely, yeah. So we do see a slight increase. That's why, home prices are essentially flat. They were up 0.2% on a year-over-year basis. But as I mentioned, they were down in July compared to June. And generally what we see at this time of the year in Los Angeles is an increase. It's almost a 0.5% increase that we would traditionally see in July. And the biggest decline actually came from a middle-tier market. So upper-tier market, which is the market that has been most impacted by the wildfires, continues to see positive appreciation. So that market was actually up on a year-over-year from in July compared to June. So there is a lot of bifurcation in terms of lower-priced folks and higher-priced folks, and what can they continue to afford at this point.
Your authoritative index also includes San Diego and San Francisco, and I see minus signs on those latest readings. Can you give us an update on what's happening there?
Yeah, so those two markets actually saw larger declines than what Los Angeles did across all three price tiers, especially San Francisco. But what's interesting in San Francisco is that there is a bit of a boomlet in terms of housing demand coming from AI sector, from people coming in, people returning back to offices due to AI. And so we are seeing some pickup in demand. So when we look at more current home price index from Cotality. So these are two different indices, Case-Shiller, Cotality, Case-Shiller, and Cotality. And Cotality, more recent one, showed actually a pickup in home price appreciation in August in San Francisco, which is really interesting to me because it's been a market that's suffered. One of the markets that has most been impacted by the pandemic and had slowest rate of home price appreciation. So to see it now come back again, it's encouraging for that region. And like I said, AI is driving a lot of that. AI jobs. Yeah.
Oh, sure. Jobs. Yeah, and everything, too. You're right. Now, let me ask you this. We've been following this index very, very closely for many, many years. When was the last time we see these kind of negative readings? Remember at the start of the financial crisis, famously, San Diego was the first place that had a negative reading on home price appreciation. Is any of this to be taken as a canary in the coal mine?
I wouldn't say so. Last time we had such weak home prices was back in second part of 2022 when the Federal Reserve first started increasing the federal funds rate, which impacted mortgage rates. So mortgage rates surged. We are on the back end of this now, where we do expect down the road. There's been a lot of volatility in terms of mortgage rates, but generally speaking, there is this gradual downward trend. So in all honesty, given the drop in mortgage rates in September, following the jobs report, we did see a little boomlet in terms of mortgage applications for both refi and purchases, and that could essentially stabilize this decline that we're seeing at the moment. So definitely more people are out there. I think the difference here in LA, for example, is that we did see a lot more inventory. So there is this price discovery going on between buyers and sellers. But I don't think that this is any indication of a significant slowdown in terms of both home prices and housing market. we are treading along the bottom for a long time now. So, we're looking at really low levels of activity, which I do think will pick up as mortgage rates come down.
Of course, here in the LA area, the unique experience of having the worst natural disaster as far as monetary damage is concerned, as well as the human toll was horrific as well. But anecdotally or otherwise, maybe you can tell us what's happening in the firestorm-ravaged areas of Malibu and Palisades and Altadena, and as far as the kind of prices that are being paid there, and what kind of what the lots are selling for, and so forth, and maybe you can give us an update on what you're seeing there.
Yeah, there's definitely demand for the area. We do see a lot more activity there. We see a little bit more of home price appreciation. I mean, it's very depending on from street to street. It depends where things have recovered more than, where at least businesses are coming back or people are coming back. So it's not equally across the region, but areas that offer similar type of housing, like Beverly Hills and maybe other parts of the region that are more high end, do continue to see more demand from the buyers that potentially have lost their homes or are still waiting to go back.
Terrific. And what's your next report? You follow everything so closely, Selma. We try to keep up with you. When's the next big report coming out?
Well, there is a Cotality HPI, unlike the Case-Shiller HPI. A Cotality, it's just a little more timely, and it has a little bit more details. So that's coming out next week. And then, we also track rents, and so we were tracking single-family rents in LA, among other places. And so what's been interesting to see in LA following the fires, there was a huge surge in rent prices, and that has come down significantly. So we don't see as much of a as high of prices that were initially following the fires. So that's encouraging. And so let's see what else. Loan performance. We have a mortgage loan performance data that comes out as well. And, that's just, it's very positive a report in the sense that we have yet to see the level of mortgage delinquencies that we saw coming out of the great financial crisis. There are a lot of protections in place right now for homeowners in case they do face financial difficulties. But the other thing that's very important for this area, people have a lot of equity in their homes. With home prices haven't gone up so much, and tenure, the length of time that people are staying in their home is so long that people in general, on average, have close to $1 million in equity in their homes. So when there is a financial difficulty, people can tap into that, And we have seen in Los Angeles, people generally tap more often, and not just for those reasons, but in general, they're adding ADUs. We've heard, how much ADU construction has gone up, and they're, home improvements and things like that. So they have more equity and they're tapping into it.
Terrific. Dr. Selma HEPP, Chief Economist at Cotality, formerly CoreLogic, live with us here. Selma, thank you very much for that comprehensive update. Live with us here on Mottek On Money on 790 KBC.
Bruin fans, fall is finally here. That means UCLA football is back in your life. Head out to the Rose Bowl to enjoy America's best tailgating and to make more unforgettable memories with the Bruins. Nico Iamaleava and the Bruins are ready to make an impact this year, and we need you cheering them at the Rose Bowl. Visit UCLABruins.com or call 310-UCLA-WIN to lock in your tickets today. 310-UCLA-WIN.
Football season is here. Oh, man. Believe has the podcast to enhance your football experience.
We got to embarrass them into doing things the right way.
From the pros.
Definitely one of the most interesting quarterback rooms ever.
To college.
Michigan is set at 8.5 wins.
To fantasy.
If you feel that way, why didn't you trade him?
Become a better fan and listen to the football podcasts from Believe.
Oh, man.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Mottek On Money continues, 790 KABC. Big day for business and civic leaders in the San Fernando Valley today, including Bo Bachman in the spotlight, head of Galpin Motors. It was the 19th annual Mayor's Luncheon organized by the United Chambers of Commerce of the San Fernando Valley, held at the Warner Center Marriott. And joining us now, the Honorable Dennis ZINE, former LA City Council member, retired LAPD sergeant with more than 50 years of service to the City of Angels. He also happens to be the honorary mayor of Woodland Hills. Dennis ZINE is on the line. Dennis ZINE, thank you very much for taking the call here today.
Good afternoon, Frank, and a pleasure to see you at the luncheon. And I know you were a big hit at that luncheon, along with the mayor, but not only the mayor of Los Angeles, but the mayors of adjoining cities, Burbank, Calabasas, and San Fernando City. So we had quite a display of political officials at the wonderful luncheon, and you were a wonderful MC today at that wonderful event, along with the chief of police and a lot of folks from the Valley.
That's right. Chief of Police, Chief McDonald was there, along with the fire people as well from the Valley. So God bless them all. And what were your big takeaways from those discussions there? Certainly a lot to discuss this year, given the firestorm disaster, crime, homelessness, all of those things certainly came up during those discussions today.
Well, Bo Bachman was wonderful in questioning the mayor, putting her on, the fireside chat. The mayor did talk about the Palisades fire in Malibu. Altadena talked about recovery, the process of that. She talked about crime and violence, immigration, the immigration enforcement, safety in this region. A lot of the issues when it came up to the Olympics, listed many of the events that are going to be happening leading up to the Olympics. Just an entire list, everything you would want to know on the city of Los Angeles. She didn't touch on the council members and some of the friction that takes place within the council, but she did mention basically answer every question that Bo Bachman brought to her attention, utilities, taxes, etc. I mean, it went from the beginning to the end, answering every question, and she didn't dodge any questions. She answered them all truthfully as she could. The bottom line is the city's got many financial problems, and with this convention center renovation, with all the other factors that the city has to deal with, and talked about the lack of police officers. I did the search today on the computer. There's currently 8,667. That's what the number's down to, 8,667 for all of the city of Los Angeles, which obviously is inadequate. And she's trying to steam that process and make it go quicker with the background checks. So that seems to be a holdup on the background check. So, but she covered everything, Frank, utilities, the prices, the taxes, why we're paying so much for utility services, sidewalk repair, lack of sidewalk repair, you name it. And she touched every one of those subjects, and the audience seemed to be very pleased. I thought it was very nice that the adjoining mayors from Burbank, Calabasas, San Fernando gave glowing reports of their communities. There wasn't anything negative in those communities, but surely she answered the questions that hounds a lot of people, the homeless population, the trash that's about Los Angeles. She tackled them all. I think she did a fine job answering the questions. I don't know if they're going to solve the problems, but the questions were raised. She did answer them.
One thing that caught my attention, she mentioned, I think she expressed concern about the first of the year, that it's possible that more officers will be retiring as the new year approaches. Anything on the radar screen there that indicates how many more officers might be leaving?
They don't know, because when they put the paperwork in, they don't put it in until they're ready to go. So it's not like they have to give 30 days notice or 60 days notice. They decide, I'm going to leave Friday. They turn in the paperwork, and depends how many years they have. You can receive a maximum pension after 33 years. There's different pensions along the way up to the maximum of 33 years. So some choose to do that. Some choose to leave earlier. It depends on when they came on the job. I joined at 21, so I did the 33 years, but still able to do it as a reserve officer, as you mentioned, and that's 57 years of working for the people of Los Angeles. But it was nice seeing that she answered the questions. She didn't dodge the questions, and I like that. And Bo, he's interviewed the mayor a number of times at these different luncheons, and he does a great job with that. And it's interesting that Bo Bachman, the young child of Bert and Jane, God bless him, they were wonderful parents, and he now leads Galpin Motors. He's the man in charge of all Galpin operations, and every year they sponsor this wonderful event. But we did have a jam-packed audience. It was good to see you there, good to see you at the MC. And you do great. You've got a great voice for radio, Frank, a great voice for radio.
With you, Dennis. It's always great to have you on here. And certainly the Valley is the economic engine here of this area, and people forget the space shuttles were built in the Valley during World War II. The planes were built there, and the Valley has a lot going for it as far as economic activity is concerned. Anything else that you'd like to highlight in the Valley? And of course, all the great people there at the United Chambers did a great job putting all that together and highlighting all these industries that the mayor's mentioned. So anything else that you think the public should know about the San Fernando Valley?
I think they just need to be aware that the mayor is aware, that the police department's aware. We certainly don't have the number of resources we need to provide all the services when it comes to street lights being out, et cetera, sidewalks being fixed. And she touched on all those issues. The fact is it costs money to fix them and personnel to do the job. So we do have some serious matters that have to be addressed. And she's not dodging the questions. She's answering them. But clearly there's a lot of problems that need to be encountered, especially the homeless population. It's not just housing people, but getting them out on their feet so they can become productive again in society. So, but the mayor did touch on everything that you can imagine during I think it was almost an hour that she was questioned by Bo Bachman during this presentation. But it was nice to see all the other chamber presidents and all of the other elected officials that attended. So it was a good roundup, and it was a great opportunity for people to learn what's going on. And I know that people are concerned about traffic and all the other issues that we have to deal with every single day. But the bottom line is the mayor faced the questions, answered the questions, and we come away with a little more knowledge than we started with.
Well, Mike Stafford did a great job there. Thank you very much, Dennis Zine. That is the Honorable Dennis Zine, former LA City Council member, retired LAPD sergeant, 50-plus years of service to the City of Angels. Dennis Zine on the line. Thank you very much for joining us here. With the Dow at a record high to close out the month of September and the third quarter of 2025 now in the Wall Street history books. Stay tuned now for the 790 KBC News Blitz, and I'll be back with more at 4 tomorrow. Mottek on Money, 790 KBC.
Hey, Bruin fans, want to go behind the scenes with your favorite teams and athletes? How about getting exclusive merch and opportunities to enter sweepstakes like sideline access at the Rose Bowl? Introducing Blue and Gold Society, UCLA Athletics fan membership program created to support Bruin student athletes. Members receive benefits like exclusive gear, videos featuring insider stories, and incredible experiences courtesy of UCLA Athletics. Sign up today at blueandgoldsociety.com.